Hello and welcome to A Backpacker's Notes about China. Today I want to introduce you to the 5 most famous traditional Chinese instruments. The first instrument I want to introduce to you is called Guqin. The Guqin is a traditional Chinese stringed instrument that has over 3,000 years of history. Nowadays, if you buy one in a Chinese music store, it usually has 7 strings. But there are also other versions historically that had 5 or up to 10 strings. The instrument is often made of a combination of wood and silk, and the strings in old time were made of silk, but now they are also metal or nylon. It has a long narrow body with a slightly convex surface and a flat bottom, often decorated with inlays and carvings. The tuning is interesting because it's tuned in a pentatonic scale, so it has 5 notes per octave, and that makes the typical Chinese melodies. And it's played by plucking the strings with the right hand and pressing or sliding on the strings with the left hand. You might have seen that instrument in movies about the imperial times of China, and then sometimes you just see the emperor playing that instrument. Usually in movies it's used as a sign there's someone really smart and he knows how to use that instrument. And the sound of the Guqin is very delicate and serene, and people describe it as meditative and reflective. The second instrument is a somehow similar instrument. It's not quite as old as the Guqin, but the Guzheng also dates back to over 2,500 years of history. If you buy one at a Chinese instrument store, it usually has 21 strings, but you can also get some with 15 or 25 strings, but the common one has 21 strings. The body of the instrument is made out of wood, and the strings are historically made of silk, but now you buy them either made out of metal or nylon. And the strings are supported by movable bridges that allow you to tune the instrument. The playing technique is similar to the one of the Guqin, so the right hand plucks the strings, while the left hand presses the strings and slides over the strings. The Guzheng is also tuned in the pentatonic scale that makes the typical Chinese sounds. I would describe the difference of the sound of the Guqin and the Guzheng as the Guqin makes a more meditative sound and the Guzheng makes a very happy sound. And while the Guqin you usually don't use in orchestras or for the opera, the Guzheng is used in Chinese orchestras and the traditional opera, and it's always symbolizing beauty and elegance. The next instrument is the pipa. The pipa is a traditional Chinese lute-like instrument with over 2,000 years of history. And it typically has 4 strings. It has a pear-shaped body with 12 to 26 frets along the neck and body. The body can be made out of different types of wood, and just like with the Guqin or the Guzheng, the strings were originally made of silk, but now they're often made out of nylon or steel. The pipa is known for its bright, crisp and expressive sound that's capable of conveying a wide range of emotions, from serene to intense. It's historically associated with storytelling and poetic expressions in Chinese culture, and it's often depicted in classical literature and art. Very often you see women playing that instrument. Number 4 on our list of traditional Chinese instruments is the Dizi. That's a traditional flute with a history of over 2000 years. It's typically made from bamboo, but sometimes also from wood or other materials. Unique to the Dizi is the Dimo. It's a thin membrane made of reed tissue or bamboo skin that is affixed over a special hole called the Guqin, giving the instrument its distinctive resonant tone. This Chinese flute has 6 finger holes and 1 blowhole, with additional holes for tuning and attaching the Dimo. Just like the Guqin or the Guzheng, the Dizi is tuned in a major pentatonic scale. It has a very bright, clear and penetrating sound, capable of both lively rhythmic tunes and soft lyrical melodies. It's a very important instrument in Chinese folk music, but also in opera and orchestral compositions. And it's used to mimic the sound of nature. The last instrument on our list of traditional Chinese instruments is the Erhu, also called the Chinese violin. It's a traditional Chinese bowed string instrument with 2 strings, and it has been used in Chinese music for over 1000 years, originating during the Tang dynasty. It's typically made from a wooden body, often mahogany or red sandalwood, with a snakeskin covered sound box. It's known for its rich, expressive and melancholic tone, often compared to the human voice. The 2 strings are typically tuned a fifth apart, most commonly to D and A. It's used in a variety of musical settings, including solo performances, Chinese opera, orchestral music, and contemporary pieces. I got really interested in the Erhu as a Chinese instrument because I was lucky that our Beijing band Buyao had an Erhu player, and her excitement about the instrument really swapped over to me. So I had a lot of fun playing that instrument, but my family really wanted to run away because I was making some terrible noises. Thank you very much for watching A Backpacker's Notes. I hope you enjoyed watching that video, and maybe you want to find some other traveling related content on my YouTube channel.